welcome back to the Pelicanman channel, and this is another video on random topics. Today we are exploring the rise and fall of the Commodore. Now, the first Holden Commodore was made in 1978. It was also known as the VB Commodore. It came as the VB, the VBSL, and the VBSL/E. The car made a landslide, selling over 95,000 units during its lifespan, becoming Australia's top-selling car in 1979. Media praised it for its appearance and manufacturing. It was also simple and reliable, even winning Wheels of the Car Year Award. The VB was only produced for a total of 17 months, being the shortest lifespan of any Commodore. Now, why such a short lifespan? It was because of the Commodore VC, having the nicer body, the nicer build, and more options for the Australian market, having 8 options altogether. Now, the VC launched on the 30th of March 1980. The VC has better suspension, a single intake, and exhaust manifold for each piston, a new carburetor known as the Rocher-Varjet, and an electronic ignition, as well as a few other body modifications, allowed the VC to skyrocket, selling over 121,000 copies of the vehicle. Though the major flop in the VC was the engine, the inline-4 Starfire supplying insufficient energy, neglecting any fuel-saving benefits that the Starfire was trying to embody. The Starfire was effectively an inline-6 Bluebird with 2 cylinders cut off the end, supplying insufficient power to one hefty vehicle. But the VC Commodore did bring HDT, also known as the Holden Dealer Team. On the 5th of October 1981, the VH Commodore came out. It wasn't much of the way of the Commodore, but the SS Model 1 came out with it, and so did the Bathurst 1000 in 1982 and 1983, boasting 141,000 models being built and sold. The VH would be built until 1984, where the 4th car of the first generation of the Commodore would be built, the VK. The VK was built and produced starting in March of 1984. The VK would boast 135,705 units. It was the only car to win the Bathurst 1000 under 2 sets of rule groups, Group C in 1984 and Group A in 1986. With the arrival of the Holden's Commodore VL in February 1986, the 5th series in the generation, and the last one, the first of the arrival of the Holden Special Vehicles, the infamous VL SS Walkinshaw, was made, with 500 being built originally, then 250 being built due to popularity. The VL had 151,801 units being built, winning the Bathurst 1000 twice. The VL had 164 horsepower to 241 horsepower. You may think that not much, but there's a reason for that. Holden simply wasn't allowed to make more horsepower than Chevy. Australia can build powerful engines like the 308, and its filed copy never made it to production, but it boasted over 320 horsepower in the 70s. 320 horsepower is a lot. Okay, so anyway, back to Commodores. The second generation invited the VN, the VP, the VR, the VS, and the VT. I've recently bought VT, the executive model, 1999, and they are such a great car. Now, the only vehicle of significance during this generation was the VR, the VS, winning 2 generation touring championships and 2 Sandown 500 and 3 Bathurst 1000s between them. There were 251,180 VN Commodores made. There were 111,770 VP Commodores made. 165,252 units were made of the VR Commodore. 277,740 the VS Commodore, and 303,895 VT Commodores were built. Now, the VT Commodore was also like Australia's most high-selling Commodore up until that point ever, which probably explains why they were so good. With the arrival of the VU and the VX, the same vehicle, just one came only as a ute, and whilst the other one came in wagon and sedan formats, with 86,478 units being built of the VU and 277,774 units of the VX Commodore. After the VY After this, the VY and the VZ came out, with 304,518 VYs being built, 320,000 VZs being built. Now, the most successful Holden Commodore of all time, selling 520,000 worldwide, being rebadged as the Chevy Lumina, was the Commodore VE. It was just a great car. I personally don't like the design of it, but whatever floats your boat. Now, 277,665 units of the Holden VF Commodore were being built, the last one to be manufactured in Australia in 2017. In the US, it was sold as the Chevy SS, so if you want one of these cars and you live in the US, go buy a Chevy SS, or we can import one. Up to you. I believe they sold a Ute variant in the USS, but like in the US, but that information isn't clear. So you may not be able to. The last Commodore was rebadged an Opel, known as the ZB. It was imported and sold a mere 11,000 units. I've seen one of these things on the road, and it's quite sad. And it was on this car, the whole Commodore lost its name. It didn't win any championships at all. A sad inline 4. If you'd like to see more of this deep dive and any of the other cars, please let me know. I'd love to do so. If you like this kind of content, let me know. If you wanted a deeper dive, I'm happy to do that. This was a video I really wanted to make. So yeah, thanks guys for listening, and I hope you guys have a great day. Oh, and if you're still around, this is after edits, but I found evidence that suggests that GM has intentionally killed off Holden just so they didn't have to pay off. If you want to do a deep dive in that, I will gladly do that. So stick around, like, subscribe, and send this to a friend so I can get income for doing this. Have a lovely day, guys. Like and subscribe. See ya.